you doing?
Okay.
How's life?
Pretty good. How's life with you?
It's going all right.
Okay,
You
that's
know, yeah. So, what have I missed with you? I haven't been through your chart yet.
okay. We did an MRI. And you want to look at it, or do you want me to tell you what I think?
This is the one from March the 5th, right?
Yeah, March 5th.
Yeah, give me 1 second before I
Yeah,
find
take your time. That's what I love about it, you know. You can
it.
take
Yeah.
your time. And then I also want to just at the end just show you just a couple of things that I have ideas for, like a GERD AI caller. Remember I sent you
Yeah,
that article about that GERD bot?
yeah, that one was really interesting, actually. Yeah.
I have a I think I have a an add-on to that. I just wanted to show
Oh,
you.
cool.
So we can do that at the end. So take your time.
All right, so the biggest one is stable in size, according to the person who read it. Uh, that had multiple citations. Uh, the next biggest one is stable. It's also septated. Uh, the next one is stable in size. Okay, so that's this one. And then previous to that, you had, I'm trying to think, it was an MRI or an EUS prior to that.
EUS.
Yeah, August of 2025. And there was a disparity, a size disparity, a little bit with the measurement of the cysts.
And it was that he couldn't take a biopsy. He couldn't get one because it was horizontal or something. He couldn't get in.
Okay, now let me look at the MRI. You've seen your MRIs or not?
I haven't seen. I just read the
Reports.
report, and I copied it and put it into Gemini, and said, "Explain it to me." Does a good job.
I bet it does.
I always explain it to me in a simpler form. And it always comes up with the good news is, and then it says, and other issues, but it always trains itself.
Oh, it's polite.
Yeah, no, but also tries to be the half full, you know. The good
Yeah,
news is, I have to learn how to do that, you know. I always just start with, let me look at the
it knows how to do the shit sandwich conversation.
right,
Yeah.
right. After a while, I'm trying to do it. I try to train it, you know, to stop with that nonsense. Let's get to the basics. I'm also trying to do it with thinking about with therapy, that the therapist can be with the AI and a client, or the therapist can just supervise. And then you have to almost, now they put so many guardrails there that whenever you start, they say, "Oh, you got to see your, you know, therapist." So I try to, oh, let's role play. You know, I try to see if I can get it to think training it.
with these septated cysts, there's
Yeah.
always
What is
a question about whether there's two cysts adjacent to each other that are kissing, or if it's
really?
one cyst with multiple septations.
What does a septation mean?
So, um, yeah, I mean, just to put it in boring words, it just means that there's a wall. But when cysts in the pancreas have microseptations, they can look like a sponge. It's called a spongiform appearance, and that happens with a particular type of cyst called a serous cystadenoma, and those have almost no cancer potential. And they happen in your demographic, actually. Kind of like a middle-aged woman. That's the type of person who gets those things. Um, um, on the other hand, if there's a cyst that has some large compartments within it, that makes it difficult to figure out if it's one cyst with lots of walls, excuse me, or if it's a couple of cysts that are touching each other.
And even with an MRI, you can't see that. You have to go in. You have to do a biopsy. How do you even know? There's nothing.
There's nothing to do really.
Even if it.
There's nothing that's really helpful with that because I mean, one thing you could do is you could jam a needle in it with an EUS and drain the fluid out of it. And if it's a multi-septated cyst, generally the whole thing's a little crunched down because there's communication everywhere. And if it's two cysts kissing each other, the drainage might just affect one of them rather than the other, but that doesn't really actually help with anything. And the analysis of the fluid, though, does help sometimes. That fluid analysis helps us figure out if the cysts are mucinous in nature or serous in nature based on the amount of CEA that's elicited within the fluid. So there's a tumor marker that when people get colon cancer, gets followed in the blood work called the CEA. And the value or the threshold value of that in the fluid tells us if the cysts are mucinous or not. And the thought there is that if they're serous, we forget about it. We don't even look at them ever again. If they're mucinous, then they get tracked and followed over time, but followed anyway.
So what is the difference between the EUS? When was that done? What month?
August of last year.
August versus March here, even though there were two separate in the way that we're not comparing two MRIs, but the EUS with this. So what changes do we see? I would think change is a big deal.
Yeah, so if you look MRI to MRI, the sizes are the same.
But so I haven't? I've never had an MRI before this.
So, let me see if there's a CT there comparing it to. Hold
on. I had a CT, I guess. That's when I think I ended up saying, stop, I got to find you. And my oncologist, take this every time they... And it all started, you remember, with changing those anti-estrogen therapy.
Right.
And then my liver enzymes went up, and she said, it had nothing to do with the drugs, and I said it did. So then she said, you need ultrasound, and the ultrasound said, they keep on finding stuff that you never knew you had, right? And then it was go for a CT, go for a contrast, and I said, stop. Let me go to somebody that actually knows this.
It's also really interesting when you look at the guideline recommendations that the radiologists always cite in their notes. They always cite more radiologic studies. They never cite anything else like an endoscopic ultrasound.
Right. Well,
That's really interesting.
No, it's like the same business. You know what I mean? That's what I know. That's what I recommend. It's not surprising to me at all.
Yeah, so you're right. You never had an MRI before.
Right. So when we're making the, but that reports sounds like it's comparing something because they said it's no difference in size. So what are they comparing to, the EUS?
So I'm opening. It's funny. They never look at the EUSs.
That's funny too. See.
I'm opening the CT scan that you had in 2025 to see what the measurements were back then.
And is the MRI give the same type of measurements? Can we really do comparison? They do pretty.
Yeah, they're cross sectional, so they should be pretty similar.
So that's maybe what he was comparing. Right.
Yeah, I'm looking at it as we speak.
Yeah. I appreciate your thoroughness, really.
Sure.
So take your time. And did the, I guess the EUS measured some things too, right? But in
So
a
there is a
different way.
size disparity between the EUS and the MRI. So the
Oh.
EUS measured some of your cysts as smaller than the CT scan had originally called them.
Okay.
And I guess there's a little user error there, like a mismatch. So the MRI that you just had measures the biggest one at 2.6 centimeters.
Okay.
And on the previous MRI, sorry, EUS, the biggest one that you had was listed as 1.9.
Okay. So in that case, but they're different measurements, I guess.
Yeah, because one of them during the endoscopic ultrasound, the sonographer is toggling back and forth the ultrasound angle and finding the biggest area to measure from one side of the cyst to the other. And I guess the MRI, they're looking at these cross-sectional views like this, and they just find the maximum dimension in that direction. So my guess would be what's happening here.
And what about the CT? What did it measure? Because that was even long, further. And I would think, and I'm one thing, the problem with me is I speak like I know what I'm talking about, and it seems like I always tell that to my brother, because he gets irritated with me. And I always say, remember, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to give you advice. So it is the CT.
The CT measured the biggest one at 2.4.
See, and then it's like, and in this that 2.4 is the same as the 2.3.
2.6, yeah.
Oh, it's 2.6. So it has.
Yeah. I don't think it's actually grown. Like it's a little size, like a 2 millimeter fudge factor. It's not
big
growth.
deal.
But I think probably what's happening here is, I think on the endoscopic ultrasound when they toggle back and forth, there's probably one part of the cyst that's being counted as separate. Cyst, and so they're measuring 1.9 is this one with a little cyst next to it, and the MRI
is doing it's they're hopefully they're combining the two.
Yeah, let me open the image actually, because I think you'll appreciate it better when I show you what I'm
talking about. Yeah. GI in training, you know that.
Let me try to find the best image from before that I was looking at. Yeah, here, let me share my screen.
Cool. So this is my. So what am I looking at?
So, stuff that's bright white on these images.
Yeah.
Is fluid.
Okay.
So that's these.
This is my where's my pancreas? Where's my pancreas here?
So it starts around here. It extends this away, all the way up until your spleen. So this is your spleen.
Oh, that's my spleen. Okay.
This is the tail of your pancreas.
Wow, it's big.
Yeah.
It's huge.
This is the body, and this is one of these septated cysts.
That's where do you, the dots are the septated cyst?
So this is a ruler that a radiologist drew here.
Okay. To
This black
measure
line,
it.
yeah, to measure it. This is a black line.
Uh-huh.
That's a septate. And these are one big septated cyst.
Wow. That's big. That looks big. Well, I guess I don't know. It's all in.
You're fine.
Yeah.
And then
Nobody even
this is
seen it.
another
Yeah.
this here.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one that I was going to show you that I think that there's a size disparity here
Yeah.
is this. So, it depends if you're measuring from this side here all the way across to here, or if you're calling this a separate cyst versus these.
Mm-hmm. So there's no. Okay. So when you look at it, Dr. Sussman, you're seeing like four of those, or you're seeing one, or what is the issue here when
And
you
so the question is this one cyst with
that?
four compartments, or is this four cysts?
Okay.
And I don't, my IQ is not high enough to figure that one out.
Okay. But if we
Uh,
did enough training, right?
yeah, it's exactly right. If I were a radiologist, I could probably give you a better guess.
No, no, but I'm not even saying. I'm even thinking about all the time with keep on putting those slides in and seeing those. That's really where AI can really help so much, in terms of keep
Yep.
on giving it, and then even alerting you, and then you get the expert around the world, right, to be able to respond and then keep on going. Okay, so with all that, you need to read some more. Or?
No, I need to just kind of globally think about where we stand in
Yeah.
all of what we had here for a second. So this whole process for you, let me just go to my note from last time.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, so the last time I saw you, I wrote multifocal branch duct IPMN, no history of pancreatitis, normal or negative germline testing, last EUS with the largest cyst measuring 1.9 centimeters, not amenable to aspiration.
Right.
Other cysts including 1.5 and 1.2 centimeters. Plan will be to perform an MRI in 6 months, which is the one we did. And if the cysts are stable, we can space out the next surveillance up to 1 year. Now,
I thought it was 6 months.
well, the radiologist wrote do it every 6 months
Okay.
for 4 episodes. That's what the radiologist wrote.
Oh, that's where I saw 6 months.
Let me pull up some guidelines. They were pulling up some radiology guidelines, but let me pull up some GI guidelines.
Yeah, I think we saw some last time you showed it to me. And again, I have no symptoms. You know what I mean?
This is good. All right, so cyst seen on imaging. And by the way, this is from, oh, this one's old. This is 2015. Why is this? Let me find a new one. Sorry.
I think you showed it to me last time. It was like a little decision table.
Yep. All right, what year is this from? This one that I'm looking at here. This is from, this is old too. this stuff is loading. Um, I should ask AI, right?
Right.
So it's basically, for cysts without high risk features, um, the surveillance is like every 6 months for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then you switch to annual or biennial even.
Right, I think. Yeah.
The guidelines.
So the guidelines is that I do another MRI in 6 months. Is that it?
So truth be told, we could
Yeah.
go either way. We could do either an MRI or an EUS. Now,
What do you prefer?
when the cysts are bigger than 2 centimeters, EUS is on the list of things to do. But the angulation, the location of your cyst wouldn't be amenable to an aspiration anyway.
Right. We tried that already. Yeah.
So if it's not amenable to an aspiration, then why get sedated?
Yeah. What are you going to see? And then if we do another MRI, at least we'll compare MRI to MRI. Because right now we don't have anything to compare it to.
That's right.
So if we're going to do the same measurement, and the EUS, it would be great. That the whole reason you wanted to do an EUS is you say, hey, we can aspirate it and we can basically
That's
get
right.
it. And it's not going to, him going in and doing another EUS isn't going to, he's not going to be able to go in, right? That's not changing the angle or anything.
Right.
Am
so
I right?
The only way I would change my mind is if the next MRI has some scary thing on it.
Yeah.
Then
No.
we would go to US.
Yeah.
If there was something scary that needed to be biopsied, I'm sure he'll find a way to get to it.
Yeah, and say, hey, this is and scary meaning, I would think it means, and this is again, is if it grows, right? That's the problem. Or if we or we see more of them, or are we seeing any more than I had?
No, but you have quite a few of them.
I know.
Just, they're little tiny things.
Yeah.
But scary things would be solid things. Also, so if there was a solid component to one of this, to any of the lesions, also that would be something worth making note about.
Mm-hmm. And none of these are solid. Is that what they're saying?
There's no solid components to anything here.
Mm-hmm. And that it's in the branches, supposedly that's good, versus in the trunk or something.
Side branch is better than main duct.
Right. Right. See, I'm learning something. Yeah. Okay. So I guess
you're not having belly pain, nausea.
The only thing is my my bowel movement. I'm very regular, and my bowel movements are more often now, and they're not this. They don't look to me as full. They're and I go more than once. I used to be very consistent. I take a couple sips of my coffee and then I have a bowel movement. Now I do that too, but it scatters. It's like I don't empty it out all maybe completely. And I got
fiber.
Yeah.
What about fiber? Are you eating enough fiber?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I do. My diet is great. I mean, we really do a Mediterranean diet. A lot of times we have salads for breakfast and things like that. So that hasn't changed. I think I got some kind of cold, and after that, I don't know, something. And the other thing is, if we're gonna, do you want to finish this? Maybe we should finish this MRI thing. Then I wanted to go over some other issues. You want to finish that up first, and maybe put that in.
Yeah. So
let's finish up this pancreas, and then I'll talk about other GI stuff with you.
So we'll put in the order for March of 2027 then, for you to get another.
Oh, you don't want to do 6 months?
I'm cool with a year.
Okay, if you're wrong.
You feel better with 6 months?
I felt better in 6 months. Let's see if
we'll do 6 months. If you'd rather 6 months, we'll do that's fine.
Just to see, and then we have a comparison, because they used to say every 6 months, look at it when it was that size, but we never had two MRIs, so I'd rather have like 2 MRIs. I don't know if we want the same radiologist to look at it or a different one, you know what I mean, to make this comparison. You never know. I'm always skeptical. I used to tell, remember I told you about the pathology. I don't know if you remember with my cancer. They screwed that
Yes.
up completely. She said, oh, it's fine. We don't see anything. No remains, you know. And Baptist says, what are you talking about? It's all, and then she even said, it's all over the place, Sarah. I can't believe I missed it. That's what I said. Have you ever heard of AI? You know, the pathology really it could be. At least she was honest with me, you know. My oncologist didn't want her to talk to me. She goes, maybe you don't want to talk to her. She knows a lot. That's what she said to me.
And you're doing well now?
Um, in that part, in the cancer stuff, I hate those pills with passion. Um, I spoke with my oncologist this time because they kept, I was such a nutnik to them. They said, oh, well, why don't you change the pill? We went to this one and then we went to that third one, which gave me those liver enzymes. So then I basically went back to the second one, anastrozole, that's called. I hate it too. But I asked her, well, I'm on the fourth year already since I've been diagnosed. I said, how long do I have to be on this? And she says, oh, 5 to 10 years. And I go, 5 to 10 years? What's the difference between 5 and 10 years? Five, another year is not so bad. Another five. And she goes, oh, well, she goes, we're not sure. And she goes, you know, there is a new blood test, a breast blood test index that they take.
I was
It's
going to ask you what that
genomic.
is. She wrote BCI in her thing. I didn't know what that is.
I don't know. So I'm supposed to, they're supposed to send, I guess, part of the original, I guess they have so much of my what they cut out or
Oh, is
so.
it like a circulating tumor DNA test?
It's, she said it was kind of like it's a a breast blood, let me look at it. It's like a breast blood index. I never heard of it before. It's supposedly it's genomic, and they take apart, and then they will tell you whether it's worthwhile to get another 5 years, whether it will benefit another 5 years of taking this estrogen. And she said, oh, and then she goes, and then she said, and I assume you want it, right, Sarah? And I said, yes. So she put it in. I don't know what they, and I don't know if it's gotten sent, or you know how it is in You never know what's going on behind the scenes. It could be sitting somewhere. I don't know. What's it called?
Yeah.
What did she say it was?
BCI, breast cancer index, I guess.
Yeah, it's a breast cancer index. And it's a test, and they send that into it. It's supposed to tell.
But does that go to Natera or what is it?
I don't know where
Does that work?
it's supposed to go out to some folks are making money off of that, you know.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to tell you, and it's supposed to tell you a based on that genomic, based on that test, whether it's worthwhile to take another 5 years of this horrible drug. And in the meantime, in December, you know, shit happens. Um, we ended up in our backyard. One of the transformers busted, and there was like fire in our backyard. And my husband is Israeli, so he's great when it comes to anything trauma. So he went out with the hose, and he says, Sarah, you know, come out here, you know. And he ended up putting out the fire. Fire trucks came, and it was so funny. The firemen are just looking at my husband. Are you sure that's not a live wire? I said, well, why didn't you guys do something? They're sitting around watching him. Bottom line is, FPNL had to put in new wires in our backyard because it does to the trees. And he has this idea while I'm in the house, Sarah, you got to come out. They didn't do a good job. And he's a guy that he's going to say, I'm going to tell them what to do. So look up here and remind me that they didn't do that. He didn't tell me, and don't fall into the pool. This is a husband that really doesn't care about his wife, right? He didn't tell me, and don't fall into the pool. So I'm looking up, and of course I fall backwards, right? And then I broke my ankle in two parts. And of course I thought, oh, it's just a sprain, what do I know? But anyways, I broke my ankle, and then I was upset Dr. Sussman, that because I take these frickin' pills, that I'm not going to heal as much. But it ended
Right.
up, it still hurts a bit, and but I'm walking, and I just told him get me back to dancing and then I'll be okay. So I'm taking it slow and I'm doing that. So I had that in between, and I was just pissed because I had that, that I didn't have that great bone structure anymore. But it's doing. So she said she's going to take that test. Otherwise, the other thing I did want to say is, you remember with the colonoscopies? If you look at my colonoscopies,
Yep.
look at them on what I had on those, and I know you told me 3 years is good, but I had it with you. Remember, I did the Cologuard, and then I contacted Dr. Weiss, and he said I should go to you, that you're the best, and you're a real mensch. You remember that? He said, Sarah, you'll like him. He's a real mensch. Go to Sussman. And we did it, and I don't know. You look at what you found, and then
Yeah, I know.
and then I think we did a second one or something, and it was I
Yeah.
came in a
One
shorter
after.
period, right after, in a shorter period of time, and you found more, and then I did another one with another guy. I forgot his name, Martin or whatever, with an M.
Manton.
Yeah. So one is, I don't know if there's a connection. It seems like I have a lot of these growths. I don't know if
They're not
those
supposed to be connected.
that has anything to do with the pancreas, but it seems like, I think 3 years would it be. What is the advantage of doing it earlier, colonoscopy, rather than that 3 years? Because I think I did it last year with him, right? And you
You had
said,
it in March 25 with Manton.
okay. And what did he find?
He found two polyps, only one of which was an actual real polyp.
Okay. All
And it
right.
was
So
2 millimeters size, which is nothing.
okay. So it was not a big deal. Okay. And the one before that?
I think I did the one before that
Yeah.
where I found, I think, five of them.
Right. Okay. So in a year, and when did I see you at that, the one before him? What was the difference in time between you and him?
That was December of 23, so that would have been uh,
Like,
only a year and a half.
okay. And then before that, did I see you again? Did you do two colonoscopies with me?
Before that, I did one in 2021.
So that was 2 years in
Uh,
between.
yeah, you had a good handful of polyps that time too, including a bigger one.
Okay. So between you, those two between you, is what time period?
2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
So based on that, you still want to do three?
I think it's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Just doing that.
Um, you feel otherwise like it doesn't
I
make you
I
nervous?
feel like the question is, if I did it in 2 years versus three, is there a disadvantage of doing it in 2 years?
There's a 1 in 1,000 risk of complications.
Okay.
Um,
Versus
it's not,
versus those type of polyps I'm getting, nothing seems to be dangerous anyways. They're just, is that
um,
the is there advantage to get rid of these polyps so often?
so when the polyps are small, they're usually not in any imminent risk of danger.
Okay.
Yeah.
And all of mine are small. And that adenoma, or what do they call those ones with that?
You
What?
had some that were adenomas and some that were serrated polyps.
Okay.
Serrated adenomas.
And are one more worse than others, or they're
No,
all? So you
no.
you're the
They're
you're the
both
expert. You know what I mean? I'm asking you.
yeah, they're two different pathways towards cancer.
Uh huh.
Um, I would tell you that, I mean, between all of the colonoscopies I just described to you, you never went a full 3 years.
Right.
Uh, uh, uh,
And I got it.
and
And I had where people say, "Oh, I didn't have anything," and then I always see, that's what I'm saying. I've never had full 3 years. That's why I was.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And I remember the second time I saw you, you said, "Oh, you were right, Sarah. You did
Yeah,
have more." Say, I
yeah.
remember that one time. Other times you say, "I'm always wrong." It's like, but anyways.
What we can do 2 years if you want.
Oh yeah, let's put it in too.
So that'll bring us to March of 27.
Okay.
March of 27.
Okay, so do that.
So you're gonna have a busy March.
Yeah, it's okay. I get to see you again. See, and then I guess
That's
you have
right.
to put in after. So when am I doing? I'm doing from 6 months from now, doing that MRI, and then I need to get an appointment with you for to do that consultation. So at least we have an excuse to see each other.
That works. And I'll just go ahead and order the colonoscopy now anyway, just so you can get
Okay,
it
all
over.
right, it's in the system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got that, and then with you. Okay, do you do
Cool.
Lennar still?
I do.
Great, easy for me. So much better than going downtown.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we're finished on that. You anything else on my? I have just as normal is so with the cancer stuff. I guess they sent it somewhere, so I guess I just have to follow up where I can follow up with her staff on figuring out did they send something out. That's
Which oh the BCI
yeah,
test.
that DCI. Just tell me about. But I still have a year for that. And then the other thing is, I have pre-diabetes, but I've had that my entire, you know, life. My father had, type 2 diabetes. The only people that left from the Holocaust that he had, his cousins had it too. And I have high cholesterol, but I've always had that. But I haven't taken any statins for that. And then, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry,
Okay,
my computer was slowing down for a
yeah,
second.
that's fine. And then I think I just have those in the pre-diabetes kind of thing. So any lifestyle or something for this pancreas is anything because I eat well. I'm
Yeah, I think just
starting now.
Mediterranean diet. Yeah, Mediterranean diet. Don't eat stuff that's too high in fat.
I don't.
Don't drink too much alcohol, and
I
don't eat
don't.
too
I
much.
don't drink anything now at all. I didn't drink much before. Sometimes just a glass of wine once in a while, but now I don't even touch it because of the cancer stuff. And I don't miss it. Other people need to drink to be, social. That's never been an issue with me. So I don't miss it. And there and I just know exercise. I have to do more. I I had to wear that boot and stuff, so that's gonna put me back. But I'm gonna get back to that. But I don't think there's anything else. Is there? Aspirin and stuff like that's not good, right? For colon, even.
Pancreas, no. And then once people get to a certain age, there's dangers with aspirin, and um,
Yeah, I don't take
you know,
anything.
yeah,
If I
yeah.
if
So
I
once
if I didn't, I started taking even just because I'm on a leg, just because I'm on that that anti-estrogen. I started taking calcium and D3 and K and stuff like that for
yeah,
my bones to try to do some things with my bones. So I think we're set with that. So let me. So now we finished all the medical. Anything else on my medical stuff you wanna?
I think you're in the clear for the medical stuff.
Okay, perfect. So now what I wanted to do, and maybe I'll share my screen, is did you see what they're doing in Northwestern? Sent you that article on that AI where they created this bot for just GERD, and then they
Yep.
basically have it. And I looked at it. Did you look at it?
Yeah. I read the article. Oh, I didn't
Okay.
look at the bot questions itself, but I read the
Yeah,
article.
I looked at the bots. It's those common things, on those common things. And what they do is, well, can I share my screen?
Sure.
How do I share it here? I guess it's a little
At
bit
on the upper right corner, there's a monitor with an arrow on it.
float video.
Mm,
Oh, here, start sharing screen. Okay. So I can share, right?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is theirs, right? That this is what they advertise. This is at Northwestern, I think, right? They have
Yep.
a GERD bot online assessment. Do you avoid favorite foods? Blah blah blah. Find out if you have GERD. Get access today, and the app, and then you begin assessment. So when you begin the assessment, either you can be a patient of theirs, or you accept their terms, and then they continue, and they, and they connect. Either you connect to my Northwestern account or continue as yourself or for someone
Yeah, this
else.
looks
And
like my chart.
yeah, very much similar. And then you put your date of birth, and then they ask you questions, right? And you listen. They probably ask you those regular, 7 questions about GERD or something like that. And then you
Yeah.
submit, and then and in that point, it's that self triage. They said you may have it, and then if you just have the simple kind of GERD, then in 72 hours, a nurse practitioner will get back to the patient and maybe recommend like a treatment plan, or the app will do it and they'll give you a treatment plan, and supposedly this way she can deal with it quite quickly in 72 hours, and you don't have a line of people with just GERD, and I don't have somebody doesn't have to wait 8 months to see Dr. Sussman or something else. So this was the big success story.
That's
what
great.
what I'm working on, it's something called a voice agent, or a caller, an AI caller. And basically, if you take your phone, Dr. Sussman, right, and I call you,
Yep.
right, you can answer the phone, or you can do a text, right?
Yep.
Let me just do this, right? You can do anything that you want. This is just my Google Voice here. You see my Google Voice, or
No,
no?
I'm
What?
still looking at the
Okay, I
reactivation.
have to do. So I'm not used to this.
You might
So
have to stop and start
how
sharing.
do I stop? How do I stop sharing? I guess
There should be a red color somewhere that says stop sharing.
leave call.
No, don't do that.
Return to video. Return, oh, here. Stop sharing. Okay. So let me share again. Okay. Let me just. Here, I'm going to go to Google Voice. Okay, this doesn't matter. So if I call you, Dr. Sussman, on your phone, you can answer the call, or I can text you, right? Your phone number is just a phone number. But if I want to provision a phone number to have a large language model, I can do that, where I can get a phone number and put into it, get a provision, put a large language model, and you can train it to do something. So my idea is training, instead of doing it versus somebody has to write, that they can even use a phone, they can call a phone number, and they don't even have to have internet access. They don't have to have even a smartphone. Let's say some 90-year-old woman, she's in her house, she has a rotary dial, she can call a number. So for instance, have you ever heard of 1-800 chat GPT?
No.
Take your phone. You have your phone there, right?
Yep.
What do you think if you called 1-800 chat GPT? What do you think you'd get on the other end of the call?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Okay, have you ever heard of chat GPT? Think, right? You have to
Yep.
think all day of GI. Think a little bit with me. Okay, think. What do you think is
Maybe a voice
if I
operated
call
search
like
engine.
what?
Maybe it's a voice operated search engine. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever heard of chat GPT before?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So dial it now. Go to your phone. Go to the keyboard, right? And dial 1-800. Tell me the numbers you're dialing.
GPT, an AI assistant. Just so you know, our conversation may
Ask if she knows what GERD is, GERD is.
OpenAI's terms and privacy policies. So, how can I help you today?
Do you know what GERD is?
Yes, GERD stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease. It's a chronic condition where stomach acid frequently flows back into the esophagus, which can irritate the lining of the esophagus. This can cause symptoms like heartburn, chest pain,
And ask her to basically tell you what are some of the symptoms, and if she can ask you those questions if you have it.
are some of the symptoms of GERD?
Some common symptoms of GERD include heartburn, a burning sensation in the chest, regurgitation of food or sour liquid, difficulty swallowing, chest pain, and a
And then
sensation
tell
of
her that you want to know if you have it. Can she ask you
Sorry,
questions about it?
that. Could you repeat it?
Are you able to tell me if I have GERD?
I'm here. What's on your mind?
Are you able to tell me if I have GERD?
Could you say that again?
Can you tell me if I have GERD?
Sure. Some dietary changes can help manage GERD symptoms. It often helps to avoid trigger foods like spicy dishes, chocolate, caffeine, and fatty or fried foods. Eating
Okay, so you
small,
can hang up. So you got the idea?
Yep. I
That's,
didn't know they had.
I know a lot of people don't. That's what they call a AI caller. What ChatGPT, OpenAI did, basically, how much that cost you? It didn't cost you anything, right? So what they normally do is a group of employees, they had a hackathon, and somebody said, just like 1-800-flowers, if you want to, somebody, it's an anniversary, they go 1-800-flowers. They said that's a vanity number, that it's easy to remember, right? It's easy to remember, and then you can convert it. If you see my screen here, what I'm doing, and I've done it with my students, is what we do is we create these caller AI callers, or you can call them voice agents, and you can program it. You can put a language model into it, but you also can basically train it to tell it what you want to say. Instead of saying, "Hi, I'm ChatGPT. Were you health GI, or were were the you GERD bot, or something like that." The one thing I like about this better is that you can speak to it. What it can do is, you can, if you speak Espanol, it will then answer with you in Spanish. You can speak to it Spanish. A lot of people, and you don't need to have even internet access. The old lady sitting in her house, right, with her, she can dial a number, right? And then she can speak in Spanish, she can speak in Creole, it will answer her. So one of the things that we were doing is, what part of my research is looking, if you have like a vanity number like 1-800-CHAT-GPT, is, will it be more effective than just a regular phone number? And that's my research, because in terms of, I'm also doing it in terms of return on the business, looking at the business side of it, besides doing, health informatics. So what I came up with is, I came up with a phone number, and I was trying out a number of different ones, was USA, right? So if I looked at my screen, let me just move this over. Hold on. If I looked at my screen, for instance, it was you. And what I like about, instead of 800 is toll free. So you, on your end of providing this, you have to pay for every toll free number. This is just an area code, a US area code of USA, and then it's Manuel. I can spell it, or I can type it out. So I could, in this case, even do let's see if it'll work. Well, let's see if it'll call. And it converts it. Do you see how it converts it automatically?
Hi there. I'm Manuel, your go-to for any innovations wellness queries. How can I assist you today?
Yes, I wanted to know, do you know what GERD is? GERD.
Yes, I'm listening and here to help.
Yes, do you know what
Yes, I'm here and listening.
Do you know what GERD is? GERD?
Absolutely. I'm here and listening carefully.
Okay.
GERD stands for Great. GERD stands for gastroesophageal reflux disease. It's a condition where stomach acid frequently flows back into the tube connecting your mouth and stomach, called the esophagus. This backflow can irritate and damage the esophagus lining, leading to symptoms like heartburn, regurgitation, and sometimes difficulty swallowing. If you'd like, I can explain how home innovations, like smart home devices, might help monitor and manage the environment to ease symptoms, which
And let me
Pretty
just go
cool.
back. So basically, can you see me? I have
Yeah.
to share. I'm sharing my screen. Where do I find that again? Stop sharing. So basically, what I can do is have it role play with me, asking questions. Do you have heartburn? Do you are you nauseous and so forth? And then it gives me a score, and then it can even then transfer, give me a score, and then even transfer me to another person.
It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
So that's what I wanted to see if this would be of interest. I'm doing it for the research part of it, one of the vanity number. So then it can be advertised instead of, how they always say, like, call, 1-800 call FBI, that you
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have to they'll remember, oh, what was that number, call, a GERD or whatever, USA. And I made it as I wanted to do in healthcare, so I made it USA Manuel. And it also has behind it, you can program part of it, but also you can put any learning language model behind it of OpenAI or Gemini and so forth. So then it could ask you it could answer just like another bot would. But this, you
that's
can
pretty.
program it then to transfer even to the human or jot it down and then take those and find what is your name. My name is Sarah Rushinick, and they already have me in their system. Okay, we'll take your results and transfer it to someone, and it's much more easy, I think, or it's a different way. It's a conversation. And then if it were, why are you, I could even ask it, then why are you asking me this question about Gert? And I also could speak in my own mother tongue,
Right.
and then
Right.
you could do the same thing as the other guy does in Northwestern, of taking the load off of you, and then it could even transfer, or they could accept all those informations. Or in some, I've talked to these one guys where they said you can even make it that I finish part of it and then I could call, oh, my kids are bothering me, can I call you back on the sentence, and then it will find you, and it continues doing it. So those are
Pretty.
some of the things where you get like a phone number, and then you can even, you just program. And a lot of the program, you don't have to be a programmer. You can even, part of it, they almost has like, it's like almost like ChatGPT. I want to have a bot that does certain things, and it writes the code for you.
That's really cool.
And then you put the guardrails upon it, and of course, you say, hey, this is for, if you call 911 if you're really having an emergency, all those.
In theory, the schedulers here already have some guardrails, also, right? Because we have some questions that get asked to people to try to figure out whether they can see an APP or a regular
Right,
person and what the
right,
reason
right.
is. So a lot of that is built out already with the
Yeah.
scheduling. That's cool. That's very
So
cool.
so think about it. If
Yeah.
you we maybe even can do like a student project or something with med
Yep.
school and maybe in the business.
The only missing piece to that would be having the providers available with nobody on their schedule to be able to put the patients into. You know what I mean?
You
Like,
mean do the scheduling already?
yeah. So, for
Yeah, no,
example,
they
if I
have
would,
that. If you have the calendars, yeah, they'll do that. They have
well,
like a schedule.
but,
But what
but
are you saying?
if I hire a nurse practitioner right now
Yeah,
and I open a schedule for her,
right.
her schedule will book out for 4 months right now. That's the way that it is. Um, and so that causes a real problem for your system to work because it doesn't allow the patients to get to where they need to go. Because as soon as you open her